Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here. My name is Matthew Zander. I'm really excited to have a conversation with these two great panelists for a number of reasons. One reason in particular is that at Quantcast we have conversations about working with brands to help them deepen the engagement that they get with their customers every day. And we do that with sports leagues, we do that with networks, we do that with individual teams and brands. And so to be able to spend this time with Lauren and Dennis is something that feels native and also fun and interesting. These two panelists have everything, and I'm excited about talking to them because of the fact that they come from really diverse areas of marketing. We've got expertise here in the areas of partnership, in consumer marketing, in product development, and product marketing. And so, why don't I ask them to introduce themselves? Lauren, would you kick things off?
Good afternoon, guys. I'm Lauren Buck. I am the VP of Sports Partnerships and Marketing for SiriusXM. And I essentially am sort of the point of contact between all of our content partners. So that could be leagues, teams, broadcasters, and sort of the rest of our organization. I cover everything from before the deal. So when we're either renewing an existing long-term relationship or if we're looking to bring on a new partner, and then sort of maintaining that relationship and working on all the marketing once they are part of the family. So excited to be here with you guys.
We are going to kindly request that during Q&A, nobody pitch Call Her Daddy sponsorship opportunities. Thank you very much. Dennis, can you speak to your role at Head?
Yes. So my name is Dennis Fabian. I'm short in my title. I just see that this is pretty long. So I'm responsible at Head for tennis and pickleball. So pretty much any tennis product that you see out there in the world or any pickleball product runs through my team. And I'm fully responsible for the marketing and for the product development at Head.
Thank you, Dennis. So let's start off with thinking about Head and SiriusXM's role as legacy brands and how you go about engaging audiences and remaining in that kind of top area of your space. And so we know that again, SiriusXM and Head being legacy brands in each arena needs to do a lot to kind of push off some deep-pocketed competitors. When you think about the need to engage audiences, Lauren, and doing that to keep competitors at bay, how are you going about that process?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody agrees it's important to sort of be evaluating what's going on in the industry and amongst your competitors. For us, a big part of it is really looking at what we can provide as value to fans and what they are looking for and having a pulse really on what resonates with them and can we do it in a best-in-class way. So, we may be looking at new shows, new hosts, a different type of content, a different way to distribute it. But it's not just going to end in the car or on the app. We also want to look at, what kind of experiences we provide them and make sure that we're really addressing the stuff that they're interested in.
Dennis, a similar idea, but from a product focus. How are you making sure that people who have been using Head and have had rackets in their families for number of generations? How are you speaking to those people and making sure that they are not getting interested in other competitors that are in the space?
I mean, first of all, I think competition is pretty good overall because it always brings out the best out of yourself. So it's always interesting to see what our main competitors are doing as well. And we want to stay true to ourselves with going our own way. And we have a Racket Sports slogan, which is kind of your game is our game. So what we do is we want the best product for everyone out there, whether you're a beginner or you're a professional or you're on the rise. And everyone determines success a little bit different. So for myself, I don't need to win any games anymore. I just want to have fun on court. I want to hit balls. I want to have that experience. So we want to attract with our product and our communication, really everyone who's enjoying tennis, pickleball, and also paddle actually.
Are you finding that individuals who cross racket sports are staying with one company, or are you finding that they're willing to experiment as they get into a different racket sport?
It's actually an interesting discussion that we from time to time have even internally, where it comes into like the product marketing, whether it makes sense to have the same product names across multiple racket sports. And sometimes it goes this way or this way in terms of the discussion, but yes, like usually we see somebody who's coming from head tennis, like using tennis product, going into pickleball, that they have an affiliation with the brand and they like appreciate our values as a brand as well, yes.
Gotcha. I'm interested in thinking about experiences, and given your company's standing as legacy brands with great partnerships around the sporting and comedy and news and music landscape, how you bring your longest held customers or potential customers to some of these on-site experiences. Maybe it's a tournament, maybe it's a concert or sporting event. When you think about being able to bring customers to an event, Lauren, are you thinking about how you're able to deepen that engagement with that customer? And then is there a way of measuring lifetime value out of bringing that person to an exclusive event?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we've been able to do really well is take a major marquee name or athlete or coach and put them in a really intimate setting with our subscribers. So, we just did last week a town hall for the Kansas City Chiefs, and we brought in like 30 subscribers, and it was basically like them sitting in their living room with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and having a 2-hour kind of Q&A with them. And that's something that is, if you're a lifelong fan, that's going to pay 5 times over whatever you paid for your subscription that year. So our business model is great in that, we sort of can provide these really intimate and unique behind the scenes kind of experiences. And then kind of everything after that is a positive ROI. When it comes to tennis, we've been great partners with Tennis Channel, and we've done sort of different variations off of a preview coming into the Open. And last year we had a great party sort of to kick off the season, and we invited some of our advertisers as well as some of our subscribers. And so it doesn't always have to be that they go to a game or they go to a match. Sometimes it's just sort of deepening that connection for the stuff that they really love. And I think one of the things that we've really tried to kind of bring home is how do we get them closer to that, so that they feel like they are part of the coaching staff, or that they're as good as the player that they're trying to be. How can we maintain that connection? And every time we sort of get in front of them, all we hear is like, this is amazing. If I had to buy this ticket, which I couldn't, it's not the type of thing that's out there, it'd be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 or whatever. And so now I can have this experience, and I can also enjoy all the content on the platform all year long.
Was there a lot of optimism in that room for the Kansas City Chiefs to do it again?
It's really interesting. They talked about sort of the pressure to be great and how they really welcome that. And, it's obviously like a conversation they can't shy away from. If they win the championship this year, they'll be the first to do 3 in a row. And so kind of to Dennis's point about competition, I think they're using it to really like fuel them. They're not, shying away. They know it's going to be hard, but for sure there was optimism. I think, you don't go into it thinking you're going to get creamed.
Yeah, makes sense. Dennis, I'm curious from your perspective, being something that is a product in market, right? You use the racket in IRL, I guess, and in the SiriusXM space, you're taking content with you always on the go. But is Head utilizing its access at tournaments, whether the upcoming U.S. Open or other racquetball, maybe squash, badminton? I know you're featured in tennis and pickleball events to deepen the consumer engagement there.
Oh, absolutely, we do that. Like we there are different customers that we are definitely talking to. So it's kind of like the end consumer, like the tennis or pickleball or paddle player out there, and there is our retail partners. So which is very important to have a strong relationship and build up that strong relationship with our retail partners. And just seeing on the screen, one of our key competitors is obviously Wilson, and you have like all these bigger retailers, they will have access to tickets to watch tennis or watch a pickleball match or go to an event and all this stuff. So what we really try is like to tailor the experience to that retail partner and really know what they are interested in. So like one interesting or funny story is always like we are the official stringing service in Indian Wells. So one of the biggest retailers in the world, the owner, is actually an absolutely stringing nerd, and like he enjoys the most to get the behind the scenes content rather than sitting on center court and watching the matches. So like that's how you should know your retailer, you should know your customer, so you can tailor everything like that they get the best experience and that they remember you as a brand have given that opportunity to them.
Yeah, I think he touches on a really important thing, which is, there are multiple brands that have access to experiences, and it's really what you do to cultivate them and customize them. So, our music side is really good at this. Like we will put an artist in the Apollo, which is not necessarily the type of artist you would think that would be in the Apollo, and they may do a version of a song that isn't what they're doing, on sort of morning TV or summer concert series or something like that, so that the fans are really getting something unique and it's not just, oh, I'm going to this show that I could go to anywhere.
And luckily, like the social media and everything gives access that we can broadcast events. Like, for example, we did an event with Novak Djokovic in Monte Carlo to honor his legacy and introducing a completely new racket, which was then live broadcasted on Instagram. So you can even give a consumer everywhere in the world kind of that feeling that they can participate in what you do as a brand, and it's not like kind of they need to look from the outside in because they don't belong to your brand, and that's what we definitely want to avoid as well.
It sounds like showing up authentically to the brand, but also to the environment is something that you need to think through at live events. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for SiriusXM, a really unique sort of part of our fiber is it's a two-way communication, right? We have fans who call in, and so we're very used to having that interaction with them. So when we go on site, whether it's a tournament or a game, we want them to ask questions even though we're on the air, right? It's sort of no different, and they're really able to get up front and close. And then we might bring them to the sideline, or we might bring them to the locker room. We sort of give them this, like you said, kind of deep view, but for the listener at home, they're still part of that conversation. They can still call in. They can still be part of the experience.
So taking it from the offline to the online, we know that head primarily is meant to be held and used on court, but I can take my SiriusXM app anywhere, right? And when I open that app, I'm expecting that the app responds to who I am and the listening that I do. How important is it, Lauren, to be able to have an app that is either utilizing digital features to provide me something new and different, or to utilize a kind of human touch to make sure that I'm getting exposed to things that I might not have come across myself?
Yeah, we have a really unique position, I think. We started in the car, and for a lot of people, a big part of the utility was being able to have your favorites, and it's a little bit of a lean back experience. We had humans curating all of that. And so you might be able to get, a sports channel, a music channel, and maybe you're listening to like talk radio in the morning, and all you have to do is sort of push the button and it's your companion on the ride. And as we started moving more into the streaming space, we took some of that, right? There's the humans behind the scenes who are programming all the channels, the DJs who are curating the sets, and the hosts that are giving you the color commentary. But we also added the technology layer of being able to curate the experience when you land on the sports page of the app. So if you just listen to our preview show that we did with the tennis channel yesterday, we'll also surface to you the conversation we had with Federer a couple weeks ago, and we may give you maybe some of the previous interviews we had with Novak at, the French and things like that, so that it's a little bit of kind of that Netflix model of like you might also like. And we'll also expose you to maybe the soundtrack that we think you'd like to listen to, when you're getting ready to get ready for the matches. So having a little bit of the algorithmic approach, I think, most people know at this point, but we also own Pandora. And so Pandora is kind of the other side of that, where it's, kind of the algorithmic functionality of learning not just what you like, but the tones and the cadence, and letting you kind of indicate that and using that learning to serve you up more. So we've brought all of that into what we're doing now. We're rolling out more and more features. We relaunched our app in like late Q4 last year, and we're creating a lot of these kind of entity experiences where you can come in, and then we also have the ability to drive you completely into one piece of content if that's the only thing you want. So a lot of flexibility and a lot of customization, personalization.
So if I'm listening to Howard on SiriusXM, can I expect lots of other kind of body comedians, or am I going to get a variety of recommendations?
It'll be partially based on other things we might know about you and some of the things you have listened to. But for example, if you're listening to Howard interviewing Pink, we may surface for you the channels that Pink plays on. Or if you are listening to him interview a comedian, we might surface like another channel, like Netflix is a joke. So you'll definitely get sort of that set of recommendations. We also have the ability to give you like live versus on-demand content, which I think is something that is increasingly important. People want to be able to get stuff not just wherever they are, but when they want it.
Love that. Dennis, how does the head product team think about utilizing its website or O&O, but online spaces, and being able to show off different designs or different features? Is that something that you think about in ways of deepening consumer engagement?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have the website with like head.com, where we have a content hub basically, where people can go on our website and they can like experience like how is a racket made, how is a string made, like how do I customize my racket, like how do I use this bag, how do I grip a grip actually properly, stuff like that. So educational content that we then also share on social channels. We try to engage as well on designs or like on performances. So the latest project we did, we developed a string within my team out of recycled material, and we were actually convinced with two products, and we didn't know which one to choose and bring to the market. And we were like, why don't we ask our consumer base? Like, why don't we just send out thousands of sets out there, do a survey, put it on social media, and let the consumer decide which string they want to have us to be launched. And that's a completely new experience. And so same thing for bags and stuff. Like, we try to tailor the content to the product and to the target group. Like, for example, a tennis bag is something that you usually only carry to the tennis court, but like we are trying to rethink that product as well in a different way. Because if I think about New York, you have a different need using a tennis bag than maybe somebody in Austria, where we are based with our headquarters, to go on the court, because we don't even have a subway there. So.
Right. So let's stay with that idea of receiving feedback from the customer, especially from a product lens. When you're in development, what does the feedback loop look like? How are you actually receiving the pros and cons from the customers who have tried it, and then how do you work that into to completing the product and bringing it to market?
So there's diverse ways how we collect the feedback. Again, there's like our markets where we have subsidiaries, or we work partly with distributors. They obviously give us their immediate feedback on a product, whether it sells or doesn't sell, which sometimes is dangerous to just count on that. So, but like you need to take that into account. Then you have like the beauty on social media on comments. Obviously, you love all the comments when people are excited about the product. Unfortunately, like not every single product is getting that excitement. then you need to think about it and like take a deep breath and like, all right, maybe people are right. We need to rethink this, adjust a little bit. And then we have our internal team, and like one of our main thing is like, if we don't like something within our team, we don't put this out on the market, because like none of us will stand in front of any crowd in the world, present a product where we don't stand behind like 100%. And that's really like important. And then like right now, even today, I had multiple conversations and people are like, well, your new extreme racket that you just launched, like there's getting so much good feedback, but you should like, you have a problem with your zippers on the back. And I'm like, all right, like wait, let's figure that out.
That's good to know. Lauren, kind of staying in that consumer feedback area, specific to putting events and games on SiriusXM. I'm guessing that if someone goes on to their app to listen to a game, or a point late in the game and it's not there, then the comments come and they're kind of overflowing. How do you utilize feedback, which on social media, as we know, can be inherently negative, and kind of taking that and making decisions on what type of content to bring into to the platform for the future?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, it starts with the fact that we are really engaged with our subscribers as part of the DNA of the company, right? They're calling in and they're part of the shows and things like that. But when it comes to even just some of what we put on there and whether or not we're hearing them, we had seen really positive feedback in terms of how much college basketball we put on. And we've been really proud to be kind of like a supporter of, women's athletics in that sense. I think one year we put on something like 14,000 games. So we took that sort of idea and then realized, okay, well, there's more to be done here, right? So we can provide them soccer, and we partnered with NWSL, and we can do potentially more with, the W, and maybe having a sport that isn't a female sport, but having female broadcasters and things like that. I think the other thing we've paid attention to is the actual functionality in the product, and sometimes you get it right, and sometimes you have to go back and kind of work on it, and that can end up translating itself into what type of content we present them. So if it's a game and they want to be able to rewind, like you said, because you came in a minute late, having that playback functionality. If it's maybe the fact that you don't necessarily know some of the context going into the game, we've added a lot of pre and post game content so that people have sort of a 360 feel. So, if it's, hey, I'm going to listen to the US Open this week, we'll do a preview show. We have podcasts. We've brought in sort of a lot of the content to make it something that you do every day and not just like you're in and you're out of the experience.
We started by talking about brand, and I want to kind of circle back to that, just with the idea of brand loyalty. And when I step into a car, Lauren, got tons of options for entertainment, right? Whether that's SiriusXM, Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, terrestrial radio if I want something local. Quite simply, like, how do you become my first and favorite, and how do you know that I'm going to choose you?
Yeah, so I mean, we are the only real bundle. You might be able to get news from NPR and sports from somewhere else and music from your AM/FM, but if you want everything all in one place in one subscription, that's us. I think the technology in the car, in terms of feedback, one of the things we always hear is like, it doesn't feel the same if it's through your phone in the car. The quality of the broadcast, you don't drop the satellite if you go into the tunnel, right? There's all these things that make the experience really best in class. And so we really have just tried to elevate that and bring that to the forefront in terms of, like I said, really bringing somebody closer to what they love, whatever genre or category that is.
Dennis, similar idea. I know, Head prides itself on catering to professionals, grassroots, anyone who's picking up a racket. Head wants that person to be able to, best express themselves. But if I'm going into a country club pro shop or a sports equipment store, I've got to make that decision at that moment. How are you making sure from a product standpoint that I'm choosing Head versus the competition?
I think like a lot comes with our heritage. Like we are known for a brand leader with technology within the racket space. And then also our athletes play a big role. So and the design. So some people pick our product because they just love our color choices, our design approach, the way we do products. Other people pick our brand because they love Novak Djokovic and they just want to use the same product as him. Or like Coco Gauff when in the space of the younger audience, the girls out there who just got into tennis and they identify with those athletes, or as I said, others just identify because they love the brand, they love the design, they love the technology and how the product actually performs, because you can do a lot of things right. If you step out on court with the product and it doesn't perform well, then not a good thing. But I'm still here, so it's fine.
I always love blaming the racket in my hand when I make an error. So don't worry, I will think about you the next time I double fault. We've got some time for Q&A. So any hands?
Yeah, social media in the comments came up, which is not surprised, because that is like the connective tissue to the fans and the followers who engage and interact. Yet it can be a pretty toxic place, be invaded by bots and spam. And I'm just curious, as you guys operate that channel, try and get that feedback to promote your brand, how do you guys think about that? That's a challenge you can address it, or I'm just curious.
I'll just repeat the question. With social media being a place where toxicity can kind of reign, how do you pick through the comments and come out in a way that is appropriate to the brand?
Yeah, so I can maybe start. It's a really prevalent thing, like you said. We actually used it to fuel an idea last year that the whole sort of journey was really, how do we make sure it's positive all the way through? We want people to have a good experience. We have a partnership with the New York Jets and MetLife. And you may know a little woman named Taylor Swift who came to play a concert there. And so we started to think about, how could we bring those worlds together? And one of the things we did was sort of create a digital scavenger hunt in our app of different pieces of content that Taylor had done with us over the years, and it would give you an entry into win to be in a suite and see her show. And as we were creating the experience, the thing we kept coming back to was Swifties are smart and they love to do Easter egg hunts and things like that. And we want them to just have something fun to do. So it's not about getting a trial. It's not about them listening to a specific channel. We want them to have a good relationship with us and to really feel like, hey, Sirius did this thing that's for us and it's fun, and we're gonna take part in it. And that was really the thing that we were most proud of. I mean, we had great stats of the promotion, but all of the comments were really thank you so much for doing something interesting. Had so much fun trying to figure this out. This one was really hard, but we still really liked working on it. And I think if we hadn't started with that piece of making sure it's a positive feedback kind of environment, we wouldn't have ended up there. So I think part of it is not shying away from it and really trying to think in all the different aspects. How can this not turn into a troll session?
For us, it's we have a dedicated team that actually reviews all the comments that we get on social media or also on product reviews, whether it's Amazon or head.com and all that stuff. And it gets usually filtered. And I think one of the core things is that we are respectful with the consumer or with those comments. And again, if they are great, it's always nice to take those, and it gives you a little bit of a boost and an additional motivation. Sometimes you get some critical content, which is fine, because then you can question yourself if are you moving in the right direction? Is that post really correct? Or should we rethink of how we approach certain things? And I think then there is another category where you at a certain level, you get the sense of like, whatever you do, you're never going to make it right for that one person, but still you should respond respectfully and try to get like, okay, you have this opinion, we have this opinion, it's fine. It's not a big deal, but like they keep poking the bear. But it can be also fun when you twist it a little bit. So like I get a lot of emails from our team who is working with those comments. And sometimes it's really fun to answer them and even help consumers. And I think if you distance yourself a little bit towards that toxicity, it's fine. Like some people are nearly even known that that's not against head. It's they go everywhere and just drop their bombs. And like if they enjoy this, let them have their fun. But again, we are always replying very respectful.
I think also there's a part of it where like change is hard, and so you have to give a little bit of time for people to acclimate to that, right? We may change our channel lineup from time to time or reorder something, and the first thing we'll see is like, why'd you get rid of that channel? And it's like, don't worry, we're doing it for a good reason. Or why'd you move this? Like it used to be over here and now it's channel 100 or whatever it is. And so a little bit of that is not being like hot on the trigger and knowing that you can respond respectfully and everything, but like if you give them a couple days to try it out, they might actually come back and be like, well, okay, you moved that and then you gave me this other great channel. So now I have two things that I love to listen to. So a little bit is sort of having that patience, which is hard.
Yeah, we have this like, especially in I would call it the nerd space, like you got those tennis forums where like people really go crazy about their product. And you got that comment like, now had removed my most loved racket. Why did they remove my racket? And you're like, okay, like you were maybe the only person left that was kind of like, and but still there, you try to get into a dialogue and explain why you do certain things. And I mean, let's be honest, there is a certain business level to it, like where like that's why a brand exists at the end. But still, we're always trying to find solutions.
I like it when I witness a brand bite back a little bit, in a way that pushes back on a troll. Lauren and Dennis, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for joining.